Welcome, Metalheads. Hope you're having a great day. Today, I want another fantastic album review for you. This is a band called Portrait. Now, they've just released their new album for Metal Blade Records. It's called A Host. And if you're a fan of Mercyful Fate, this is an album for you guys. This is a great Swedish band, so check out this review. Now, the band were formed in 2005 and have released some fantastic albums of the past. They've been signed to Metal Blade Records now for a few years, and the band's last album, At One with None, was released in 2021 for Metal Blade Records. The band would release their debut album in 2018, which was self-titled, which was released on Iron Codex Records. Now, some of you guys out there have already got this album. If you haven't, check it out. It's a great debut. So the lineup for the debut album would feature Philip Svenfeldt on vocals. We'd have Christian Linden on guitars, Richard Langarenden on guitars, with a D Slaughter on bass and Anders Petersson on drums. So that's the lineup for the debut album, which was called Portrait. The band's second album was the first album released for Metal Blade Records. This was in 2011 and would feature new members back then, Joel Valskalami on bass guitar, and would have Per Carlson on vocals. Now, the band released their next album. This was called Crossroads, was released in 2014. This is followed by the album Burn the World. This is released in 2017. And the band's last album, At One with None, released in 2021, also on Metal Blade Records. Now, this new album would have a slightly different lineup change. For the new album, would have Per Lengstedt on vocals, would have Christian Linden on guitars, Karl Gustafsson on guitars, Fredrik Petersson on bass, and drummer Anders Persson on drums. So that's the lineup for the new album. And this album is absolutely great, folks. Like I said, if you are a fan of Mercyful Fate, this is an album for you. It's very dark and it has elements of Candlemass in there as well. Now, this album was recorded at JFK Studios in Sweden by vocalist Pierre Lindell, who's done an absolute fantastic job. It's very old school production, but very crisp and very powerful. Now, this album comes with 14 songs. The first song is actually an intro, so I'm going to enlighten you with the song titles for this new album. We would open up with an intro, which is called Hoc Est Corpus Menem, followed by the song The Blood Convent, The Sacraments, Oneric Visions, One Last Kiss, Treachery, Sound the Horn, Dwell of the Threshold, Die in My Heart, Voice of the Outsider, From the Men of Renown, Sword of Reasons, and the last song will be called Passions of Sophia. So that's the song titles for the album. Now, as I listen to the opening track, The Blood Convent, this kind of reminds me, like I said, a little bit of Mercyful Fate. It's the vocal range of King Diamond that's in there. But the song also reminds me of an old classic band from the West Coast, Savage Grace, who wrote some fantastic albums in the early 80s. It's also got a little bit of heaviness of some death metal and black metal in the song, only very slightly, especially in the music. The vocals on this song also remind me of J.D. Campbell, the original singer for Omen. Rest in peace, J.D., a fantastic singer. Now, this album is definitely a must if you're a fan of the old school Metal Blade bands. The guitar solo on this song is very much like Michael Dana and Hank Sherman from Mercyful Fate. The next song, The Blood Convent, now this is very much like Mercyful Fate, especially with the vocals of King Diamond. It's got that eeriness about it, and it also has the music potentials of Mercyful Fate as well. As I said, Savage Grace is also in there, a little bit of Omen. So if you do like your old school Metal Blade bands, this is a great album and a great band. This song also reminds me of Omen's second album, Warning of Danger, or maybe a little bit of Battle Cry. Pierre's vocals are absolutely fantastic. Like I said, if you are a fan of Mercyful Fate and you do like J.D. Campbell, a little bit of Savage Grace, Chris from Savage Grace, then this is a fantastic song. The whole band are really pulling through on this album, and it really does take you back to the 80s. Next song is called The Sacrament. Like I said before, it's very much Mercyful Fate influenced in places. A little bit of Judas Priest, a little bit of Omen and Savage Grace. It's a very, very catchy song with some great parts, some fantastic vocal ranges. This song also has early elements of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Next up is Oneric Visions, another fantastic song, very old school 80s Metal Blade style of bands. The album also has the galloping style of Iron Maiden. So if you like the early Iron Maiden, the early Judas Priest as well, it's got that new wave of British heavy metal vibe in there. Bit of Angel Witch. I think this is a really, really good album. Like I said, if you're an old school metalhead like myself, you're going to really enjoy it. Like I said, the production's very old school. The songs are very old school and some fantastic playing and vocals. Fans of Mercyful Fate, like I said, Savage Grace, Omen, Hellstar, them type of bands you're really good like, with the classic Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Production's good, the vocals are great, the music's fantastic. So I'm going to give this album 4.5 out of 5. It's a great album on Metal Blade Records. It's by the band Portrait, and the album's called The Hearse. It's just come out on the 18th of June, so check it out, Metalheads. More reviews coming in the very near future. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments.